Now, every pastor's heard it. I don't have to go to church to find God. Well, that's true. Church probably isn't the place to look for God, though God can be found in the church. Now, let's take a look at why we go to church and see if we can figure out what's missing.
I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're the church together.
Why don't some people who believe in God, come to church?
Hey, I'm serious. I can find God on the golf course. Thank you very much.
I encounter God when I'm out fishing.
I like the really honest answer. Sunday is my only day to sleep in. I believe you can encounter God when you're out fishing. I think it's even possible to find God on a golf course. Sleeping in on Sunday is also a pretty sure bet for me. That means a miracle's occurred. I'm going to go even further. I'm going to say that just going to church is no guarantee that you're going to find God. That being the case, why do we go to church? The first thing to get out of your mind is the idea that by going to church, you're somehow doing something to help God. Wrong answer. I hate to break it to you, but there's nothing that you or I or anybody else can do to help God. God's already perfect. God's already omnipotent. God's already omniscient. God's already omnibenevolent. When we go to church, we're not doing something for God. God is doing something for us. God is doing something that can be wonderful. In fact, God is doing several somethings. Unfortunately, we have a pretty bad habit of ruining it. The first thing to remember is that we are all created to be a communal people. God never told us to go it alone. Indeed, we are called upon to support and reinforce each other, to build up each other, and to hold each other accountable. The next thing to keep in mind is that we are created to be in relationship with our Creator. Yes, that can happen out fishing or on the golf course or anywhere else, but it's supposed to happen a little bit differently in the church. We go to church as a community to worship. Tell the truth now. While you may encounter God out on the fifth fairway, does praying for a birdie really count as worship?
Anyway, the good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
When you say, please God, don't you think a nice trophy redfish would feed the family nicely? Is that really acknowledging the Lord of all creation or salvation through the Son of God? There's nothing wrong with asking God for those things. But it's not worship when you stand more in awe of your own prowess than in the prowess of the one who made it possible. Jesus said, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am there also. Gathering at the church counts. Gathering at a Bible study counts. It can count elsewhere too, but it gets much more iffy if the Son of God is not the reason for your gathering. There's another purpose for church as well. Sadly, I'm afraid it's the one the church has a hit or miss record in fulfilling. We are called to come together in community for the reasons I outlined, but we have a mission as well, and the church is supposed to be an integral part of fulfilling that mission. We're called upon to make disciples of all nations. Church is supposed to help us do that by training us, building us up, and sending us out to accomplish the mission. The social aspects are wonderful, but they exist to strengthen us so that we can accomplish the real mission. When we go to church and don't come out feeling as if we're ready to tackle the mission, something has gone terribly wrong. Perhaps God is calling you to a different church. Maybe God is calling you to remain at your church and try to effect a change there. That's between you and the Almighty. What I'm pretty sure of is that God is not calling on you to give up. I'm the pastor at First United Methodist Church of Aransas Pass, Texas. My family still lives in San Antonio. Once a week on Sunday nights, I head back to San Antonio to see the wife and make sure the dog still knows what I smell like. I head back to the coast on Tuesday mornings. When returning, though, I usually take US 181 instead of the quicker Interstate 37. I've been traveling the 181 corridor all my life because my parents had property down here. I pretty much make the drive on autopilot. But something caught my attention a few years ago in the great metropolis of Pettis, Texas. I saw a sign that stuck in my mind. I thought it was clever, but I didn't give it much more thought at the time. For some reason, though, I couldn't get that sign out of my mind. It was put up by the United Methodist Church there in Pettis. It wasn't advertising service times or giving the location, though. It just posed a question, and then it gave the answer. Here's the sign. What's missing in CHCH? You are. Brothers and sisters, that sums it up pretty well. The church isn't a building or a steeple or a monument. It's people. In the words of the old song, I am the church. You are the church. We are the church together. I want to invite you to help fix what's missing in the church. If you're down in the coastal Bend area of Texas, I invite you to join us at First United Methodist in Aransas Pass. If I'm not your cup of tea or you're not from around here, we'd still love to hear from you and help you get connected with a church that fits you in your area. Whatever the case may be, you are invited to be a part of the community. You are invited to gather in His name. You are invited to be an important and integral part of something that was created for you, the eternal kingdom of God. I know you have an invitation. I know because God so loved you that He gave His only begotten Son so that you can have life everlasting. I look forward to seeing you in church. If I'm not wearing a dress up front, look for the fat guy in the back row.
Will many times I'll be Remember, you are created in God's image.
But I'm not Buddhist.